Every Friday we have what we call Mind Shift Friday. We look at different topics. Get your mind to shift some of the things we have believed, some of the statements we keep saying. Some of these things we put them to the test on Fridays. Today we have a very interesting topic. Let me ask you before I tell you what the topic is. Do you suffer from glossophobia? It sounds like a strange disease, like a virus from somewhere. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. And it is one of the most common fears. Back in the day, when I was a young boy, I had this thing called glossophobia. I can't even believe how nowadays I am on TV every day. If you take me to any place, kuongea tu kuongea, mbele ya watu. My friend, tell me something else. But at one point in my life, it was a major, major issue. So if you have the fear of public speaking, today is your day, because I have got two amazing gentlemen joining me in studio who will help us to gain a deeper understanding on the art of public speaking. I've got Anthony Wachira, who's a transition coach, a trainer, and a speaker. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm great, Jemo. Thank you for having me.
Asante sana. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Unajua bado ni January, lazima tuseme Happy New Year.
Ni kweli kabisa.
Tukiingia February tunasema Valentines, lakini January ni Happy New Year. Mpaka mwisho.
Yeah.
We also have Karaoke Kamau, who is a motivational speaker and a corporate trainer. Yes, Mr. Karaoke, how are you doing?
Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Karibu sana. You guys, you should have sent me the memo.
Blue.
Yes. Pia mimi ningedunga blue coat or a blue shirt. Now it seems like...
Microphone yako ni ya blue. Mic ni ya blue.
No, you failed to join the Zoom. We had WhatsApp with you, and you failed to join, sir.
I left the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Gentlemen, let me start with you, Anthony. Why is it that a good number of people, a huge number of people have got a fear when it comes to public speaking? And I'm asking that because we speak every day. So why is it that many people fear speaking in front of a crowd?
Thank you, Pastor Jemo, for that question. And I have read a little bit about that. And one of the things that comes out is that we open ourselves to scrutiny. We open ourselves to sharing our ideas. And that invites feedback. First and foremost, nobody likes feedback when they are told that, can I give you feedback? In fact, I was thinking about this, and yesterday my wife gave me some feedback.
Yes.
In the car, and the first thing I did was get defensive. I got quite defensive because of feedback. Feedback is not something that we look forward to, and when we stand in public to speak, we open ourselves to scrutiny, we open ourselves to people listening and disagreeing, and not liking our opinion, and that, of course, in this day and age when we are dealing with social media, can invite a backlash. There's also the natural response of human beings when we fear something, to either freeze, to either fight, or to flee. So that natural response, when I like that you said glossophobia and how many people, in fact, I was looking at some statistics, they range between 75 and 77% of how many people fear public speaking. So it is a monster. So when we are confronted by something that we fear, a stimuli that we are afraid of, we freeze, we fight, or we flee.
Karaoke, do you think we are so concerned about what other people will think of us? That is probably one of the reasons why we are also afraid of public speaking.
Great. That's a good question. I believe that is the main thing that why people fear public speaking. Fear of being criticized. Fear of being opposed to your idea, being opposed and not received. Fear of people. What will people think about my idea? What will they think my mind is made of? So that's why the main reason why people fear.
Okay. Has public speaking always come naturally to you, Karaoke?
It has not been natural. It is a gradual growth, and it has been growing step by step, glory to glory.
Glory to glory.
Yes.
What about you, Anthony? Is it something that just happened naturally, or did you also have to grow into it?
I had to grow into it. In fact, I remember a time when I stood in our church and I was required to sing a verse, Christmas carol, and my friends still remember this. I was tall, so I was in the back, and I could not the notes could not come out. I was croaking, and I had a nice voice. That's why I was given a part to sing. My friend, if you see that video, we can't see who is singing. In fact, the cameraman was zooming, was panning, trying to look for the guy singing.
Yes.
And then it was a simple frankincense to offer Havai, that Christmas carol.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could hear the words. I mean, it was so difficult. I had enrolled in debate club before then. I was really short when I was younger, before I grew tall, and I had tried to hone my public speaking. And the first time I bent, I don't know if they remember those things in the 80s and 90s when we used to debate in school. So you
Yes.
bend at Mwenyekiti.
Yes.
So I bent at Mwenyekiti. I was so short, I hit the table with my head. True story. True story. And you can imagine the presentation fell apart after that. So I was shy, and like Kariuki is saying, it's something that we have to work on. And caveat, even to date, there are audiences that I stand before,
Yeah.
and the first 10, 30 seconds, I am composing myself. I didn't
Yes.
think that I was prepared, yes, but I'm having nerves. So yes, it is a process.
You know, you mentioned debates, and even for me, that's where my journey began. Because like I said when I was doing the intro, growing up, I was very shy. Oh my goodness. I leave me alone. I am okay by myself. And I had this teacher who, I don't know, for some strange reason, he looked at me and he thought I can speak before people. He forced me to join the debate club. Yeah? Mr. Chairman, honorable judges, teachers, and my fellow students. Today I am here to propose this meeting. I mean...
or to propose.
Yeah, and that is really how it began. And I'm grateful to God that she did that. Kariuki, I'm just wondering, even as we dive into the art of public speaking, from your perspective, what would you say are some common mistakes people make when they have that opportunity to speak before a group of people?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think one of the mistakes people make is to cram notes of what you are going to say, to cram what you are going to tell people. The moment you get on stage, your mind freezes and you get yourself panicking, and you are handing over the mic back to the MC, having not communicated anything. So I tell people, don't go there cramming on stage. Go there prepared. Just let the Lord use you to release from your spirit. You become composed. If you go there with crammed notes, you will freeze in front of public. And when you are allocated a slot of 1 hour, you get yourself speaking only for 20 minutes, then your notes have evaporated. So that's one of the major mistakes. The other major mistake is mimicking others, that you want to copy what other speakers say.
Yeah.
You go there and the copy has disappeared.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
I like that one of mimicking others. Anthony, you know, sometimes I listen to some sermons and I'm thinking, Pastor, see, you just speak like yourself. Why are you trying to be like TD Jakes? Now I'm not even hearing the sermon. I'm just thinking, this is the worst imitation of TD Jakes I've ever had. I don't know if you've had that experience, Anthony.
Yes. And I like what Kariuki is saying. I also want to add to that. Kariuki has talked about cramming. I would say that we need to prepare. I think one of the best things that you can do is prepare. Of course, there are those off chances when you are caught off guard, and that's why learning public speaking is an important thing to do, because sometimes you'll be in a meeting, and especially if you live far away, and people might just want you to say hello. They say, Pastor Jemo is here, and he works in Nairobi, especially wageni wa Nairobi. If there are people from a country hosting us, wanajua wageni wa Nairobi.
Yes.
When wageni wa Nairobi go to home turf, every once in a while you'll be invited to speak.
Yeah.
And I'd say one of the things that people should learn to do is to keep it short. Not too short, but just brief. If you've been invited to say hello, and talk about things that you're familiar with. Don't start talking about Tesla Motors and going to Mars. You know, things that are that are too lofty for us and for yourself. Yeah.
I like that example, you know, because it reminds me that it's important to know the crowd you're speaking to, you know. Otherwise, then there's a great disconnect. Somebody's asking Kariuki, how do you deal with that fear? You know, the butterflies in the stomach, just the fear when you're stepping up on stage. How do you deal with that fear?
Oh, that's great. I think one of the things that one should learn, and I will speak from my approach, is always have your way, a style of presenting. I always start with an icebreaker, and this is a way to ensure the crowd is prepared to receive, warming their heart. You see the way pastors start with the praise and worship, then the praise, worship, then the heart is now receptive for the word.
Yeah.
I always start with an icebreaker. It can be an aerobic, just to do a few stretch up, or you start with a joke, you start with a rhyme. You call everybody with a Type-C charger to sit on the front lane, and you tell them that just look for something so that you can be able to connect, so that you can become in charge. Number two, don't just get stuck on studying on the pulpit. Keep moving on stage. Keep moving on stage so that you are able to be in charge of the crowd.
Yeah.
The other thing is speak on a topic that you are very well conversant. Don't go to topics that you are not a master. If you are not a master in that topic, you'll not be able to impact your audience.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Those are good tips. You know, Anthony, for me, usually when I have the opportunity to speak, before I go there, I'm always looking and I'm always listening to the person who's speaking before me. And I keep thinking, what can I piggy bank on? What can I ride on? Is there something in the audience? Like when we began this conversation, I looked at the both of you and I thought they're wearing blue. I am not. That's where I'll begin. I always think like that. So I always have something to say before we get into what we really want to discuss. And I find for me that when I do that, I'm at ease, and the people I'm talking to also are at ease. I don't know for you, Anthony, what are some tips you use to calm those butterflies and to tell them it's okay?
Very nice. I like what you did. I also do something called reading the room. Reading the room. And I like what Kariuki is saying, an icebreaker. And you can create your own icebreaker, an icebreaker that you are comfortable with. And it does not necessarily have to be a joke, but it kind of cracks the ice and gets the audience to, even if they did not know you, to feel at ease. And I like what you're saying as well, because that's kind of an icebreaker, if you ask me, that you looked at us. In the city, you kind of, well, it's a virtual room. You read the room. So, there's something common about these people, the blue. And you use that to get us to smile, to get us to become at ease. I mean, we were preparing, we were adjusting ourselves and ready to do this. So we were not completely comfortable until you did that. So I also do that, and I go online and research, because there are many tools that can help somebody to learn to break the ice, depending on the audience that you're speaking to. I like something you said earlier, knowing your audience. Every time I am speaking to an audience, I like to know who they are. I like to know their demographics. Sometimes you have a very varied audience, and you need to be very creative to get something that can get all of them to be on the same page. Sometimes they are old and young. Sometimes I've been to places where there were even people who had some disability. So you have got to have a very universal ice breaking that will cause everybody to sort of lean in and be part of the conversation.
Okay. Kariuki, can anybody be a good public speaker, or are there some people who are cut out for it? Wengine wakae tu uko nyuma wasikize? Or can everybody actually develop this skill?
Because we are human beings and we are social beings, I believe it is important for everyone to work on his public speaking skills. And you not to do this so that you become a motivational speaker because of business engagement. You are leading a meeting, you are leading a chama, you are leading your family. It is important you work on your public speaking skills. Whether you are going to politics, whether you're in business, whether you're a musician, whichever kind of business you are in, or whichever kind of calling that you have purpose to do in life. But for motivational speaking, you have to have that strong desire that you want to touch people's life. You want to transform people through inspiring, through challenging, through motivating, and through guiding them. That is the purpose of a motivational speaker: inspire, guide, and challenge. So it's not a kind of motivational speaking is not accountable for everyone, but public speaking, everyone should practice, because you know what our institutions are doing. They are very good in equipping people with hard skills. These hard skills, you become a good engineer, a good accountant, a good doctor, but now how to deliver these skills, you need some soft skills, and one of it is public speaking. How will you deliver? By the way, a good public speaker who have a lower qualification earns more than a qualified top engineer because he can't deliver the skills. How will you be able to connect with the investors? How will you be able to convince a potential investor you need to work with me? So public speaking skills are cut off. Everybody should practice to improve.
I like something you've said there, and it's reminded me, and I know because both of you are public speakers, you've gone through this. You're watching TV, and maybe it's an athlete or a musician, and they're given the platform, and maybe they're even dignitaries there, and they open their mouths and they start to speak, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, God. Jehovah, no one trained him. No one talked to him. He's wasting such an opportunity. I don't know if you've been there, Anthony.
Yes. Yes. Wow. That's why it's close to my heart, especially our athletes. And,
yes.
One of the things that comes to mind, especially for me and our dear athletes who make Kenya proud, I think one of the things that they should be taught is to speak their mother tongue.
Exactly.
Or Kiswahili.
Yes.
They don't have to speak in a language that is difficult for them. I remember Gabriel Selassie, he won quite a lot when in his heyday, and he used to speak in Amharic, and I used to love that. Let the people at the IAAF get you an interpreter.
Yeah.
In fact, you are creating a job.
Yes.
But don't start speaking a language that you're not comfortable in. And then, like you're saying, Professor Demo, they need to be prepared. I think part of the things that our officials need to invest in is some training or coaching for our quote-unquote celebrity athletes to learn how to answer questions, some to handle the press publicity, because they are not trained at all.
I like that. You know, there's one gospel artist, I'll not mention his name. But I remember, man, he would speak and I would think, oh my goodness. First of all, he had a heavy accent because of his mother tongue. And he would speak and I would, oh my goodness. Siungeandika tu mahali alafu mtu akusomee. Yani, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. But then, gentlemen, but then, I think it was last year, I was looking for something on YouTube and I saw an interview. And I thought, let me hear this guy again. What? He wowed me. Yani, I said, thank God, it seems like this guy went for training. It seems like this guy heavily invested on his public speaking skills because he had me all ears, that whole interview. Right. Man, he was speaking and he was speaking good. The way he was answering questions, his articulation, his thought process. I mean, I thought, wow, if this guy can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody. It's 23 minutes after 7. It is all about the art of public speaking. And I like what my two guests are talking about today and the things they're telling us, because we live in a space today where, man, we speak before people. Yeah, you may be an engineer back there, but you will be required to speak before people. You may be an artist, you may be whatever. You will be required to speak before people. So it's an important skill that all of us need to learn. Even if you're not learning it to do it professionally, it will come in handy. If you have any questions regarding public speaking or some of the challenges you're facing when it comes to public speaking, maybe the day you're told you're leading a meeting in the office, my friend, hata ulali, Singizi inapotea, you're wondering, how am I going to do this? These two gentlemen are here to give you tips on how to become a better public speaker. SMSs on 20316, WhatsApp on 0786 316 316. Gentlemen, there's a very interesting question here from Lucy. Lucy says, I am an interpreter in church and I am female. How do you avoid this fear? Because you keep getting different ministers, each with their own accent, from across the nation or across the globe. Ebu saidieni Lucy. What can she do to become a better interpreter and not to allow fear to overcome her? Because you never know who's coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I take a crack at it?
Yes, take a crack at it, and then Karaoke can also say something.
All right, that's very interesting because if she doesn't know who's coming, that puts her in a very disadvantaged position. What I would do if I was her, I would go online and do research, especially if it is, I'd first of all find out what I'm struggling with. Is it accents? Is it the lack of preparation because I am not aware who is coming? Or whatever, I would want to zero in on the problem so that if it is not being aware who's coming to preach, then I would talk to whoever I need to talk to in their church hierarchy and protocols, so that I am in the know who is coming. And then I would do a little bit of background research on this person. Do they have any videos?
Yeah.
Is there any information that I know about him? And I'll be very careful about this. I would also put in my own stereotypes in my research. From my own experience, if I have worked with a person from Meru and I know that their accent is heavy on this, and I would research on, I would try to listen to such kind of people so that I am not caught off guard. If he is Kamba, if he is Kikuyu, whatever our accents, Chida Matamchi, where we have problems, I would work on those.
Yes.
So I'll do my homework. I would want to be involved in the planning so that I am aware who is coming. That helps me get prepared.
Okay.
Then I would also talk to people that I trust in the audience who will give me some honest feedback. And this one, I'm the one asking, and I'll tell them, please give it to me, lay it on me.
Yeah.
What do you think I should improve on, so that I am also serving my audience? Because the most important people in any communication is your audience, because you want to get the message through.
Okay.
And you want them to understand. That's where I would begin.
Okay. Karaoke?
Oh, just to add on what Anthony is saying, that's a good point of view. One thing I will advise the Madam Lucy is, first, the foundation is important. Having the basics of public speaking, because first, you are a public speaker, you are appearing on public, have the basics. And these I will encourage. Get to a public speaking class, join Toastmasters, you can record yourself on a video speaking in front of people. You can practice, get as many platforms to practice public speaking as you can, because that's a basic first. Number two, always research. We talked about the audience, knowing your audience. Know who your audience are, so that even the person who is coming to speak, you should also know who is coming to speak. For excellency to thrive, whenever you are an interpreter in church, always have that curiosity, or always do your homework. Know who is coming, watch his videos. If he is a speaker who is renowned, if he is a pastor who speaks in other countries or in other churches, please watch his videos so that you know his style. Try to twin your style with his or her style. So preparation is important, okay? Preparation is important. And your foundation of public speaking, that one you can't delegate. But the research you have to do.
You have to do the research. So since Lucy ametupeleka kanisani, Anthony, I think one group of people who do a lot of public speaking ni wachungaji. Akina James Okumu hapa. What tips can you give pastors on how to communicate better?
Wow. By the way, I love that question. I have a book. It's a bit far from me right now. And it was written by a pastor. And I like quoting that pastor saying this statement so that I'm not, to avoid backlash.
Yes.
He said, some pastors are plain boring. He's a pastor, so he has the right to say that.
Yeah.
They are just plain boring. And it's because they don't put any effort to sharpen the skill that they have. They just want to go out there believing that they are anointed and called without sharpening the skill. So I would say, number one, they need to humble themselves to be teachable. They need to do, I like what Kariuki is calling it, the foundations. They need to train to become a better speaker. I have the experience of a pastor in a church I went to, who he was very professorial. So he used to speak to us like, because he was very learned, he used to speak to us like he's lecturing. Like he's lecturing. And every time he had a session in a month, the church would be half, because we don't understand him, so people would run away. Then I think somebody spoke to him who he believed in, because the last times I went to that church, his sermons were great. His oratory skills had grown big time, and he had stopped now lecturing to communicating, and it made a huge difference. So I have actually seen it happen with some of my own pastors, the ones that I have listened to.
Okay.
I think the first line is to be humble enough to be trained and be willing to learn, and also they should practice. Some of the best speakers that we know, like I like listening to Barack Obama, and I know that they prepare a speech and then they practice the speech. I know that pastors prepare a sermon. I think they should also practice it so that they deliver it the way they want it to come out.
Wow.
There's a pastor who was told that, and he said something that didn't come out the way it was supposed to come out. He says, normally me, I don't practice what I preach.
I like what Anthony have said.
Yes.
You have gone to these ministries and all you are hearing on stages, hallelujah, amen, hallelujah, amen.
Yes.
One of the things I will tell pastors, one of the things I will encourage pastors, and they do an amazing work, okay? Directing us or guiding us on preparing us on coming of Christ. I like what they do. But one of the things is I will request, kindly accommodative. Be accommodative.
Yeah.
When people come to church, you have people from all diverse backgrounds and they have various needs. Try to be accommodative. Just talking about Moses. And everything's not bad to talk about Moses all the time and Revelation and how it will be. Here on planet Earth, how are people going to be effective so that they can radiate the glory of God here on planet Earth?
Yes.
Okay? To be effective, connect with the audience. Let's teach them how to live even practically like Christ-like here on planet Earth, other than just telling them about heaven. What about here on planet Earth? How are they living? And that number two, before Pastor, before you take the mic on my shoulder.
Yes,
some pastors are boring as Santos.
You're talking to a pastor. Be kind.
Some pastors sit on the pulpit like a statue. They are there like a statue, and half of the members are asleep. And wanastukia sermon inaisha, watu wanatoka kwa kanisa because they are so boring. They are just stuck. Please try to walk on stage. Try to connect with the audience.
Yes.
Try to involve the audience, even by raising their hand or doing something. Okay, not just be boring. And also be real. People who are living on planet Earth. You're not talking to angels. People who are living on planet Earth.
Yes.
Okay. So there are some ministers who are just hallelujah, amen, hallelujah, amen. If you ask people what was being taught, there's nothing. Nothing. Just
oh my goodness.
In the congregation. Thank you.
So basically, you're telling them to practice what they preach. Sawa. There's something, but let's move away from the pastors. There's something I need to ask because we are almost out of time. We have about 7 minutes before we get done. I'm just thinking, when it comes to public speaking as well, is my presentation important?
Extremely. Extremely, because we listen to body language more than we listen to words and the intonation. And that's some of the things that we didn't quite mention.
Yeah.
Because in public speaking, the body language is 55% of the communication.
55%,
yes.
Wow.
The intonation, the tone is 38%, and the words are a mere 7%. So how I look, depending on the audience, if I'm going to speak to young people, I need to dress in a way that I am not a barrier. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to wear cut jeans, or I don't even know what they call them, ripped jeans.
Yes.
I don't really have to wear like that. I should not come looking like a CEO in a meeting where we are talking about adolescents and sex education, things like that. I need to wear appropriately for the meeting that I am going to. Similarly, if I am going to meet CEOs, then I should dress appropriately. So it very much depends on the audience that you are speaking to. Because public speaking is a presentation. And the presentation is even from the way that you're dressed.
Okay. Before we run out of time, gentlemen, Kariuki, maybe give us, what tips can you give us that can help us become better public speakers?
Thank you, Pastor Jemo. I think one of the tips to become a better public speaker is practice. You need to practice. and get as many platforms as you can whenever you are given an opportunity. More so for the upcoming and already those who are in it, get as many platforms to speak as you can, because practice makes you a better speaker and engage in different audiences. Number two, you can record yourself, record some videos so that you can always listen to your feedback. You see, where am I going to improve? From there, listen to other speakers. There is nothing new under the sun. You can copy, you can learn from other speakers. So keep listening to other speakers. There is one or two things that you are going to learn that you are going to twist your speaking engagement, and it becomes better. But always look for somewhere to speak.
Any more tips, Anthony?
Yes, I would say practice. I would say be willing to stand up if it's in the office and that we are required to make a presentation or to speak. Be willing to do that. If it is at home and you're required to serve in any capacity where you're standing in front of people, give it a try. So start getting comfortable being in front of people. And then remember, the way Pastor Jimo began with glossophobia, that it affects so many people.
Yeah.
So it is obvious, even the ones who have become speakers and good speakers have overcome the fear. So start visualizing success. Start looking at the glass as half full as opposed to I can't do it. No, let's not give excuses. I like what you said, Pastor Jimo, that you actually intimated that you are an introvert. Achana na mimi, that's like an introvert. So let's not give excuses even if we are introverts. Some of the best speakers are actually introverts.
Very true. Very, very true. Very true. Is it important for a public speaker, especially now, if you are a motivation speaker or even a corporate trainer, is it important to have a core message? I find that there are some people, it's like when we think of people like Miles Monroe, one of the first things that comes is either kingdom, a message about the kingdom of God, or a message about purpose. He was very big on those two. And so I'm thinking, if I'm venturing into motivation speaking, or if I'm venturing into training, is it important for me to zero in on one particular subject that I can become known for, that I can become an expert on? Karaoke.
I think that's a very good question. It is important you tailor, you get to know what is your area of expert. Where do you have much impact? Where are you more knowledgeable? Where are you impacting more people? So that people will know on a certain topic. If it is on finance, mine is on personal growth and development, teamwork and development, talking to corporate people. How do you not just get stagnant? Talking to people to grow. Mine is on challenging people to grow. Any speaking I will do, lastly, you see it is heading to challenging you to be a better person. Yes, it is important to get your area.
Okay, as we finish, gentlemen, this is now, I'm a pastor. Pastors are given 3 closings. This is now my final closing, gentlemen.
Yes.
And I think that's also another tip. If you're given an opportunity to speak, don't go overboard with the time. If you're given, you're given half an hour. 1 hour later, you're still my final closing. You will never be invited again. Anthony, what's your most embarrassing situation in this field of public speaking? What's one of the most embarrassing things that has happened to you?
One of my most embarrassing things is when I was starting out as a trainer. Apart from now, I told you about my debate. That was, of course, I went to bend to Mwenyekiti. I was really short. My head hit the table.
Ukagonga mwenye meza.
I was a really young person then. In my adult life and practicing training, I went when I started out, I had a very old computer, and the over-reliance on technology can be a bad thing, and we are trained.
Yes.
Then my computer is the one that had to be plugged into the wall. Then stima zikapotea, so you know what happens. And I'm in the middle of the presentation.
Oh my goodness.
So zikipotea too heavy, the presentation went out, and I had to look for a creative way to give the people a quick break. Stima zikirudi, the work, so that to get the presentation going. And it took quite a while for me to recover. And they have never called me again. I wonder if it is because of that one mistake. They have never called me again to train their people.
You can blame it on Kenya Power.
Yes.
We are used to that. What about you, Karaoke? As now we finish, your final closing. What is one embarrassing situation you've ever found yourself in?
Oh, Jemo, you like to hear about it. This is when you engage a number of corporates, and I speak to a number of corporates.
Yes.
And one of the clients when said, in my wedding, I don't want this time of people bringing gifts and what. When people are eating, I just want you to come and talk to people. The way you have touched my life during my wedding, this is the gift I want to give back to people. Little did I know, in the wedding now, there is where you get children, you get uncles, you get aunties, people from Bunyore, Kabasogo, all over. And then you are bringing a motivational speaker from the city to talk to people. This was somebody in Nairobi.
Yes.
And now bringing me as a gift to the client. People will not have your attention. They are all over on the food, disorders, and where. And I like order when I am having my speaking because you are doing encouraging, inspiring, and challenging. How are you going to challenge people when they are rushing for cake? It was very embarrassing for me. I thought, am I really a motivational speaker? People are not giving me attention. They are giving attention to food. That is one. And I said that never, ever, ever, ever anybody to call me on a wedding to give a speech.
The motivation speaker needed to be motivated, I'm telling you. Gentlemen, it's been so much fun talking to you. Thank you so much. We definitely have to do this again because I still think there's so much more we can talk about when we talk about the art of public speaking. Unfortunately, we are out of time for now. Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.